The Blazers will take on the Golden State Warriors in Oakland on Wednesday. And for more on that game, our good friend Chris Haynes from ESPN, he covers the Warriors. He joins us now. And Chris, with the new year, I'm sure you've got some resolutions. Is your resolution this year to stop getting thrown out of locker rooms by LeBron?
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Chris. Great to have you on the program. Let's start with this Trailblazers team. You've had a chance to see them quite a bit. I know that you were here for a game recently. Your thoughts on how this team is adjusting to life without Damian Lillard right now as he recovers from that ankle injury?
Well, yes, I cover. Let me see. I was there last week when the Blazers played the Kings, and I'm working on the story, on the Blazers as far as what pertaining to, how we got to this point, with all the high expectations and them having, getting off to a slow start. So that will run Wednesday or Thursday on ESPN. But to answer your question, look, it seems like they've changed their defensive principles. Around the same time, Damian Lillard has been out or nagging, or have that ankle injury nagging them a little bit. And so it's kind of, I don't want to, maybe the word is unfair, maybe, to kind of assess this team right now without Damian Lillard. But I will say this, obviously you can definitely see them picking up the pace and getting into cutting lanes, being more aggressive, trapping on the pick and rolls, trying to manufacture turnovers to get easy baskets. Because for the most part, a Stocks defense has primarily been, just kind of sag back and allow the offense to make turnovers, but just play sound defense. Don't commit, no risky movement, no risky plays, and see what happens. So I think right now they're just getting out and trying to make sure that they're attacking defensively to make sure, hopefully, that'll help them on the offensive end.
And we saw last night Minnesota struggle when the Blazers threw the blitz at Wiggins off the high screen pick and roll. Also, in addition, when the Blazers were able to sit and stay in their shell, they were able to effectively shut down the Timberwolves. You've watched a lot of the Golden State Warriors this year. That's no mystery right there. What is it that the Warriors, is there a defense that they tend to struggle with sometimes, or has there been a look that teams have given them that has forced them to really slow down on offense by any chance?
Well, I will say this. You need the right personnel. You need the right defensive team and personnel. What the Blazers are doing as far as, picking, trapping on the pick and rolls, I don't know if that's necessarily going to work against Golden State because they have so many other weapons, especially with KD coming about. That definitely is probably not going to work against them. But the Cleveland Cavaliers do a great job in going after Curry. Because, you got to take the head off. And he's the floor general. He's the guy that has the ball for most of the time. They take the ball out of his hands. They trap him. They switch everything where he's not getting open looks. And then when Curry starts off slow, he starts forcing it and rushing it. And Cavaliers have had so much success in making sure they get inside of his head. But they also have the defensive personnel to play three guys on him. Iman Shumpert, LeBron James will switch on him sometimes, and then J.R. Smith as well. I'm just not sure the Blazers are that deep to be able to try to take him out and then have to rely on the secondary defense to cover up for Draymond and Kevin Durant on the back end. So it's going to be tough. I'm interested in seeing how that new defensive approach is going to play against the Warriors.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question about that. Terry Stotts is employing what I would call situational pressure, right now, whether it be personnel related or whether it be against certain teams. And so we're having this conversation now about whether or not the Trailblazers can situationally apply pressure to the Golden State Warriors. And I'm looking at Steph Curry's numbers, and he's right now averaging the lowest assist average that he has in the last 5 seasons. I'm curious as to why is his assist total going down when the amount of shooters on the floor with him has gone up?
Because there is a lot. I wouldn't say a lot more. I don't want to say that, but their offense is so free flowing. They really don't. Steve Kerr talked about last couple of years that he really hasn't had to call a lot of plays because they just get it within the offense. This year, you got to get the ball to KD, and so Draymond Green as well is taking more of a point forward role and freeing up Stephen Curry. So that's gonna knock. If you want to knock Stephen Curry throughout his career, was that he wasn't the best at finding guys. Too often he would force up things, especially like I said, if he was starting off slow and the defense was getting into him. And so this year he hasn't had to have the ball in his hands as much. KD can relieve him of that, and Draymond, I believe Draymond is leading the team in assists. And so he just has other guys who can play make and distribute the ball.
And we saw in that, you could say, epic Christmas Day game against the Cavs, a situation where they subbed Curry out at the end of the game, and we've heard Steve Kerr say he wishes Curry would be a little bit more careful with the ball on the court. Has that led to anything else that's gone on this past week, or is that Kerr just trying to light a fire underneath Curry and demand more of his superstar to make sure that he can continue to get the best that he can out of him?
Yeah, I think he was trying to light a fire. Look, I was very shocked when Steve Kerr made those comments. Because I'm the one that asked him the question about, first of all, I asked him the question about the shooting woes. And Kerr dismissed that and said, I'm not worried about Curry's shooting. I want him to make better decisions with basketball. Now, usually when a coach says that about a player, he's usually talking about a rookie or a second-year player. You rarely hear a coach say, utter those type of those comments about a two-time MVP. So I was a little bit alarmed by that, but I think, look, we've all seen Game 7. The Warriors couldn't score in the final 4 minutes of that game, and during that juncture, Stephen Curry threw a behind-the-back pass on the sideline to try to hit Klay Thompson and sailed out of bounds. This team, as great as they are, they still have a problem with valuing possessions, and I think we saw that on Christmas Day as well. Curry doing the same thing, the carelessness, throwing the ball behind his back into traffic, getting picked off. That is a problem, especially when you play in the high echelon teams, because they're going to capitalize off of those turnovers. And so I think Steve Kerr is letting them know that, hey, we may be able to get away with those passes and carelessness through the majority of the teams in the league. But when we're playing for real, playing these high-tier teams, we got to value each possession. That may mean just making a simple routine basketball play.
So, Chris, you're covering the NBA. You've been covering the NBA for a while, and I applaud you, your rise to your current position, because I remember, sitting next to you and, we were trying to put together game plans and figure things out side by side. So, congratulations. Happy New Year, Mr. ESPN NBA reporter. But here's my question about Steve Kerr's comments in all seriousness. I think championship caliber coaches in the NBA know how important it is to coach your best player in order to coach everybody else. And Steve Kerr has been, I think, courageous in that, whether it's Draymond Green and his questioning his shot selection and having an episode a season or two ago, or commenting on Steve Kerr, I think, or on Steph Curry. I think Steve Kerr has been consistent in coaching his roster. Is that a statement you would agree with, disagree? You're around the team every day.
I've never really seen him call a player out. I don't know if that comment towards Curry was calling out status, but it was something that my ears perked up. I'm like, wow, like he's going public with this, and he's not in the group with the Greg Popovich, Stan Van Gundy's, the outspoken guys. Like he'll speak out on like he spoke out on marijuana use and things like that. And, he'll touch on some topics, but he really doesn't criticize players, openly like that. So I think what it has boiled down to is that he's realizing that there is a problem. As great as they are, that let's not fool ourselves and thinking that we can get out there and play all herky-jerky and pass and go globetrotter style on everybody. That's not going to work against everybody. So I think right there he was trying to send a message.
Chris, coming up, we have a matchup between two potential MVP candidates in the league, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Who do you give the MVP nod to at this point in the season when you look at how impressive both of them have played so far?
Oh, God, that's a hard question. I know we got to wrap. God, that's a hard question.
I'm not letting you go until you answer it, by the way. Don't think you can hang up without answering that.
All right. Houston's in the third spot right now, correct? They're third in the West?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes, they are.
Golly, I never thought I'd give an MVP vote to Harden. He still hasn't improved defensively. Just defense, it gets to me. But look, I know people got on me about, Stephen Curry. He's not a defensive player as well, and he was a 2-time MVP, unanimous MVP last year. So as of right now, I will give it to James Harden. But look, it's a long season ahead. I still have the right to change my opinion.
Absolutely, you do. We appreciate that, Chris. Well, thanks again for taking time to join us. Enjoy the game on Wednesday night between the Blazers and Warriors.
All right, take care, guys.